Hello students, the topic of today's lesson is theoretical, actual and percentage yields. After completing this lesson, you will be able to define terms like theoretical yield, actual yield and percentage yield, and calculate the percentage yield of a chemical reaction from given information. Theoretical yield is the amount of product obtained on paperworks, or it obtained by stoichiometry calculations based on the balanced chemical equation. Usually, the theoretical yield is determined from stoichiometric problems by using mass-mass relationships or mole-mole relationship. But actual yield is the amount of product that is produced from a practical chemical reaction. It takes place in laboratories or in chemical industries or in nature. So this is the difference between theoretical yield and actual yield. The other important point you must remember about the theoretical yield and the actual yield is theoretical yield is greater than or equals to the actual yield. Theoretical yield is always greater than or equals to the actual yield, or the actual yield is less than or equals to the theoretical yield. The other important term of this lesson is percentage yield. It is the ratio of actual yield to the theoretical yield multiplied by 100%. It's also known as efficiency of the reaction. We can write the formula of the percentage yield as shown at the bottom of your screen. Percentage yield is equals to actual yield divided by theoretical yield multiplied by 100%. According to this formula, if the theoretical yield is equals to the actual yield, then the percentage yield of the reaction will be 100%. Let us see a couple of examples based on actual yield, theoretical yield, and percentage yield. The first example is when 32 grams of sulfur dioxide reacts with oxygen, 30 grams of sulfur trioxide is formed. A. What is the actual yield? B. What is the theoretical yield? And C. What is the percentage yield? The product of this reaction is sulfur trioxide, and its actual amount formed in the reaction is 30 grams. Therefore, the actual yield of this reaction is 30 grams of sulfur trioxide. And the theoretical yield of sulfur trioxide can be obtained by stoichiometry calculations. Then we apply the mass-mass relationship to determine the amount of sulfur trioxide formed in the reaction. As you remember from the previous lessons, like in mass-mass problems or in limiting reactant problems, the amount of product is determined by set up the proportion of the reactant and the product, and then solving for the variable x. So The value of X is 40 grams of sulfur trioxide for this reaction. This value is known as the theoretical yield because this 40 grams of sulfur trioxide is obtained by the using of stoichiometric calculations. C. The percentage yield. The percentage yield is the ratio of the actual yield to the theoretical yield multiplied by 100%. And the actual yield in this reaction is 30 grams and the theoretical yield is 40 grams. This ratio multiplied by 100% and gives 75%. The efficiency of this reaction, or the percentage yield of this reaction, is 75%. The second example of this topic is 10.8 grams of carbon reacts with carbon dioxide according to the given reaction. What is the percentage yield if 50.4 grams of carbon monoxide is formed? To answer this question, first we have to determine the actual yield and the theoretical yield, because percentage yield is the ratio of the actual yield to the theoretical yield times 100%. The actual yield is already given in the problem, which is equals to 50.4 grams of carbon monoxide. And we can determine the theoretical yield by using stoichiometric calculations. As you observe on the screen, the theoretical yield of carbon monoxide is also 50.4 grams. We determined this amount of product by using mass-mass relationship. The theoretical and the actual yield of this reaction are equal. Therefore, the percentage yield equals to 100%. Students, this is the end of today's lesson. In this lesson, we discussed about the meanings of actual yield, theoretical yield, and percentage yield, and how to determine the theoretical and the percentage yield from the given information. What is the difference between actual yield and theoretical yield? Nice. Do the following exercise. This exercise has 3 questions and try to finish in 50 minutes. Don't forget to check your answers at last. See you.